It's the CalebDMTG show.
All right. The black cards. Okay. Let's see. So we're on the third section, and it's almost 10. I'll probably almost certainly get through this and get through red tonight, huh? And depending on time, I might squeeze green in too. I probably won't finish the whole thing. Nice cheeseburger. Absolutely. Hey Bobo, Triple O, thanks for the sub, thanks for the 70 months. And cheers everybody. Alright. Ambulatory Edifice. 2 and black for a 3/2. Phyrexia construct. Whenever Edifice enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 life. When you do, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Huh. Yeah, I don't mind paying life for things. If this card if it gave a -1/-1 counter, it would be very strong. Even with the paying 2 life. Just getting -1/-1 until end of turn is much worse, of course. There's some X1s to kill. There's some X1s to kill in this format. You can also play it post-combat and kill something that, you know, you attack your 2/2 into their 1/3 or whatever. It's a nice post-combat ability that rewards you for attacking. Hard for me to see this as an early pick though. It's hard for me to see this as like a bomb or a consistent value card though. We need a very specific format before this card became nutty. You love the art? I love the art too, yeah. Fun colors. The deep red and the bright green in the background. Makes it seem kind of menacing. You think it's good filler? Yeah, that might be where it's at. Annihilating Glare, 1 black sorcery. There's additional cost to cast this spell. Pay 4, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Destroy a creature or planeswalker. Yeah, this card's good, huh? Pair it with that stupid blue 2 draw that draws a card when it dies. Or just cast it for 5, kill something. Good stuff. Good black removal. Yeah, real quality. I wonder how many artifacts you'd want to sacrifice in this set that aren't also creatures. I wonder how often that's going to come up. Anyway. In a weaker pack, you can always pack one, pick one, a removal spell. Especially a quality removal spell like this one. Anoint with Affliction also pairs well with Threatens. Annihilating Glare, that effect also plays really well with Threaten effects. There's usually a few of those. We haven't gotten to red yet. There's usually a few of those running around. Anoint with Affliction, 1 in a black instant. Exile target creature if it has mana value 3 or less. Sure. It's like a smother, but exiling instead of just killing, which is, you know, solid. Corrupted, exile that creature instead if its controller has 3 or more poison counters. Yeah, so pretty much designed for a limited play, huh? There was a time when Smother was a constructed playable card. When the biggest threats were Togs and Wild Mongrels and 6/6 worm tokens. That time has been long gone. And removal has improved with the years to match improving creatures. Still seems solid and limited though. Totally solid. What are my browser extensions? I don't want to get into those. Some of them are like wholly defunct. Like I don't think this Twitter extension works because Twitter isn't like supported for Opera anymore. And then these are both Twitch-related things, I believe. Oh shit, what up? Hey, C3 tweets the ball. Thanks the Prime. Thanks the 53 months. Arcfiend of the Dross. 2 black for a Phyrexian Demon. 6/6 flyer. Oh no, this is a good card. You can tell this is a good card because it's 2 black for a 6/6 flyer. And I'm sure it's not going to have any debilitating downside, so we can just skip over the rest of it. Snap 1 first pick, best card in the set. Play it in your standard decks. Bilious Skull Dweller, 1 black for a 1/1 Phyrexian Insect Death Touch. Oh, there's some laugh faces. Am I supposed to read the rest of it? I'll read the rest then. Arcfiend of the Dross enters battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. See, nothing but upside. Beginning of your upside, at the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Arcfiend. Then if it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. Oh, well, that's not good. Oh, but then it's got another perk at the end. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. Lose the game's pretty much a bummer, though, isn't it? I literally didn't know what this card did either. I didn't know the downside was gonna be that severe, but that plays with the bit so much better. Fuck. I fucking love demons too. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. I mean, that's good. You are gonna murder people really quick. The issue is that it's gotta be really fucking quick, you know? You could play this in a deck that has a few sack effects, just in case. Just in case you don't quite get there in time. You only get 2 attacking turns though, right? If you're not proliferating. 4 oil counters, then down to 3 attack, and then down to 2 attack. Then down to 1 attack. Okay, you get 3 turns. 3's not that bad. 3's 18 fucking damage. I mean, it is chumpable. It is chumpable if they've got flyers. Worst case scenario, they throw a pacifism on this and you just like die. That's kind of bad. I would play this card. I would take this card early and I'd kill people with it. I'm not a coward. Did you lose 2 life? Yeah, but taking 6 damage is a lot different from taking 18, right? That's a little bit different. Can't always kill your own creature. Can't always kill your own creature. Not what you want to be doing, especially when killing an opponent's creature. Makes them lose 2, but it is a thing you can do. There is a lot of sack in the set. Yeah, we've already seen 1 card. Yeah, I think I'm still into it. I think I'm still into it, folks. Maybe less so for Constructed. The creature an opponent controls dying, losing 2 life. You have less control over that. It limited everyone's playing creatures, right? And that ability's always good. I guess there's less pacifisms in Constructed too, though. Yeah, but I still like it there too. Link it with your Elspeth? Yeah. Can we exchange things? You want a harmless offering this to your opponent? My issue with harmless offering type effects is that I think a lot of the time they're gonna die before it's time to give it to them. You think it plays well in multiples? Yeah, not being a legend is kind of sick, actually. All right, Bilious Skull Dweller. Yeah, I'm calling Arcfiend a bomb rare. I'm gonna lock it in. It's gonna murder people. I will very specifically murder people with it. I think Skull Dweller is cute AF. It is kind of cute. 1/1 Death Touch, Toxic 1. Yeah, 1 mana 1/1 Death Touch is usually fine. Throw Toxic 1 on it. Kind of sweet. Proliferate seems easy enough to make happen. Yeah, sort of. Not all the colors have Proliferate though, And then you're just getting another turn. So again, like if your opponent pacifisms the Arcfiend, it's not like Proliferate's gonna save you, right? It's like scrabbling for air. Black Sun's Twilight. Well, that's some sweet art. Kind of atmospheric, sort of like the blue one was. I do think it's Yeah, the emphasis is more on the background, the actual Twilight, than like the blue X spell had like this whole like activity going on. Still good though. X black instant rare. Up to one target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. It X's 5 or more. Return a creature card with mana value 5 or X from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Mana value X or less. Man, this card kind of sucks, huh? It's not even either player's graveyard. It has to be your graveyard. Would this card be too good if it was like black X and it returned all the creatures that were X or less? Would that be too strong? If it weren't tapped or if it weren't either yard? Yeah, right? There's so many like restrictions on it. Why'd they make this card suck so bad? They could have made it suck slightly less very easily, right? At instant speed? I mean, you can make it a sorcery. Zero cost creatures? Well, X would still have to be 5 or more. So I don't think that'd be a concern. Owlscapede. They'll have the 5 or more clause. A good Necrotal. This thing? Yeah, I mean, you're playing it in limited. But it doesn't seem constructed playable to me, right? Yeah, right, Kinixai. I was expecting something closer to Finale of Eternity, where it's like not game breaking, but it is limited bomb when you get enough mana. Agreed, Kinixai. Agreed. We're talking constructed? We're talking both. We're talking both limited and constructed, but it's like obviously okay in limited. You know, you can play it like cheaper early on as like a combat trick or whatever. And then later on, you're 2 for 1, you know, you kill a thing, rebuy something. But it's just not comparing to the other Twilights. It's impossible to not compare them all to each other, all of the X spells. That's just like part of making a cycle, right? This is worse than Profane Command, yeah. Stinky. You'd like this as a back tattoo? That'd be kind of cool. You think instant covers a lot of sins? I don't think that matters that much for a removal spell. Especially a removal spell that's like not playable in constructed, right? Because instant matters more in constructed than limited. Not that instant speed doesn't matter for limited, but it's not like there's creature lands you need to kill or whatever. The consensus on Arcfiend. Oh, this card rips. Card's gonna fuck you up. Play Billy Rat. 1 in the black. Phyrexian Rat. Toxic. Whenever it dies, proliferate. 2/2. Oh, it's kind of cool. Don't mind trading, don't mind sacking. You got stuff to proliferate. Good rat. Yeah, not a bad rat, Right, Annihilatrix. That's what the other ones do, though. Like you're saying, if this came into play untapped, then it would be able to 3 for 1 instant. Yes, and even that is considering that you would need to have a creature in the graveyard to recur, right, for that to work. And then yes, you could get a 3 for 1. If the blue one steals a creature, it mind controls a creature, and you get a copy. So that one's 3 for 1ing. That's better. It's a better 3 for 1 than Black Sun's Twilight, even if that is what this card did, which it does not do. And then the white one's a sweeper that gains X life and like floods the board with 1/1s. Sweepers tend to be better than 3 for 1s, right? You understand the context now? Like, maybe this rare, part of this rare cycle could be a little bit closer to the other ones, is the thought. Gotcha, Annihilatrix. I thought your double question mark was questioning what Kenixai was saying. Kenixai is saying that if it came into play untapped, then it'd be a little closer, But the fact that it comes into play tapped, you can't actually block the opponent's things. I agree, Eric Virgo. No, they could just be a little closer. I'm fine with black being the worst one, but them just like nerfing it to oblivion seems excessive when it could be at least like slightly interesting for constructed play. The green one's way worse. Oh, thank you, Matthew T. Allen. That's a relief. Phew. All right, Bonepicker Scourge. Oh man, this art kind of reminds me of Pete Venters in the early game. That kind of darkness going on. Love that shit. Tuna black, 2/2, flying corrupted. As long as the opponent has 3 or more poison counters, it has Death Touch and Lifelink. That's some pretty sick scaling, 3 mana for a 2/2 flyer is like fine. It's not exciting. But Death Touch and Lifelink are a nice couple of abilities. Goes from being like bad filler to quality filler real fast. Yeah, if you pay 6, it better win the game for constructed. Absolutely. And some of them do, I think. Like a Martial Coup, if you're cooing for X's 5. It's a game-winning effect. The blue one, like you're probably not playing X's 5 very often, but it's like kind of reasonable to not do so. We have Vampire Nighthawk at home. Yeah, I mean, a card doesn't have to be Vampire Nighthawk to be playable, That card's pretty fucked up. Chittering Skitterling. Yeah, earlier we had some nice alliteration. I've got some nice ing rhymes. Tuna black for a 1/4. Phyrexian Rat, corrupted. Sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw a card. Activated only if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, and only once each turn. Oh man. So, this is not a constructed card. Not only is this not a constructed card, I'm a little bit wondering what they were thinking about for this card in limited. Does Wizards just hate black cards or something? Once each turn? Once each turn? They have to have three poison counters before you can even use the ability. And it's attached to a 3 mana 1/4 body that doesn't have toxic. And the payoff is that you get to sacrifice an artifact or creature, and then you can draw a card, which is once. I guess you can do it once on the opponent's turn too. Too easy to go infinite if it doesn't have once per turn. Not unlimited. What do you mean too easy to... They have to have 3 infect counters. What format is it going to be too easy? Are you talking about Commander? So you got to give them 3 infect counters. And then you have the Skitterling and then like another piece. This already sounds like 3 or 4 different moving parts. I think it would be fine, friend. is what I'm getting at. Only as a sorcery, only on Tuesdays. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Skullport Merchant was dumb busted. If Skullport Merchant required your opponent to have 3 infect counters, it would not have been busted. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that with a high degree of confidence. Cruel Grimnarch. The fact that you can sack on your turn and the opponent's turn might save it a little bit for limited. Assuming you have the fodder, you still play it. The fact that they need 3 infect counters though is so rough. You have to like be doing this with the might stuff. You think the red is okay? Well, it's hard not to be okay when you're got a 3-mana 1/4. I just don't think it's gonna be very consistent. I don't think it's gonna. It's hard to build around a card that just is like fuck nothing, unless they have 3 infect. Like Blue's Horned Turtle just like has flying. I can pump in the air and stuff. Doesn't need a lot of work. It feels like a lot of the other corrupted cards are like totally reasonable if they don't have corrupted. And that one literally does nothing unless you have it. And then it doesn't always do something either. Even if you have corrupted, then you still need. Anyway. Is corrupted fake? Is it a trap? No. With a lot of cards, it's just like free, right? Like you're playing like kind of a reasonable card, and then the corrupted just helps it scale into the late game. My issue with the rat is that it's an engine card, so you're like supposed to be building around it. It's not just like a inherently reasonable rate or whatever. But then they cap the engine. So a combination of things is making me have issue there. It might still be okay in the right deck. It can sack itself. Yeah. Oh boy! I got my opponent to have 3 poison counters. Now my rat can sack to itself. Yes! I might get to draw a good card! Cruel Gribnarch. 5 and a black for a 5/5 death touch. Phyrexian Cleric. Whenever it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you gain 4 life. Yeah, that's solid, huh? Life gain's always a little bit better in limited than it seems, because people are almost universally killing each other with combat damage, right? A little bit less in this format with Toxic, but even still, combat damage still matters. Limited 20 to 23rd card. Yeah, I don't know about that. 6 mana for a 5/5. Yeah, maybe you're right. 20, 23rd card. I could see playing a couple of these is what I was thinking, but that's included with what you said. The value is not irrelevant, right? Like 6 mana for a 5/5 Rotting Rats would be like pretty inconsistent. But it becomes, what was that card? Honey something? Honey Elephant? That green card that gained 3 life or whatever. And that's just all it did. I think this is a little bit better than that. Honey Mammoth. Yeah, that was the card. I think in general you would rather they discard a card, especially with your 6-drop, right? Like, you might be getting like their literal bomb rare that they've been sitting on. I guess in the super late game, it might be worse. People tend to sandbag a land to bluff. Ooh, they're gonna think I don't have just a single land here. I'm gonna get them good. They'll play around this card. Could be anything. But that tendency will blow out this card, huh? You just get this stupid land when you want to gain 4 life. On curve, though, if you're getting a card with this, it's probably not a land. It's probably going to be a sweet one. Cutthroat Centurion. 2 and a black for a 2/2. Artifact creature, Phyrexian Warrior. Second another artifact creature, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn. Yeah, this card's fine. If this card said only activate if the opponent has 3 infect counters, I would get mad though. I'd make you all listen to the same rant again. As punishment. As punishment for wizard sins. Oh damn, we got a Doomwake raid. Doom. Hey, thanks Doomwake. Welcome folks, we're doing a set review type thing here. Mostly talking about cards in regards to limited, because most cards are only interesting for limited, but we're talking about cards for other formats where they seem interesting for those formats too. If any of my viewers are not yet following Doomwake, you're fucking up. That guy rules. Dope guy doing dope streams. Throw him a follow, huh? Anyway, Cutthroat Centurion. There's certainly cards that you want to sacrifice in this format. The blue 1/1 we looked at earlier. I haven't gotten to red yet. I don't know if there's like good threat effects to pair this with. There's certainly fodder for this one. Activating only once each turn is kind of a bummer, but at least it's an artifact creature. That's kind of relevant, Tom. Are there new modern playables? There's some cards that have been interesting for modern. We've discussed those in turn. I'm not going to go back over them. We're in the middle here, right? Drivnod, for example, does not seem like a modern playable. Carnage Dominus, 3 black for an 8/3. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Horror. New viewers, restart the whole thing. Back to the beginning! Alright, Phyrexian Horror, 8/3. If a creature dying causes the triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So death triggers. Death triggers go twice. Blood Artist triggers twice with this thing in play. And then we've got Phyrexian Black. So potentially 4, either 2 mana or 4 life. Exile 3 creature cards from your graveyard to put an indestructible counter on Drivnod. Carnage Dominus. Yeah, so 5 mana is a bit much in terms of modern and legacy, right? 5 mana is a bit much, unfortunately. I don't know if you want to try and squeeze like one of this into Yawgmoth. I'm guessing no. I'm guessing absolutely not. But I'm also not a Yawgmoth player. So Yawg players might feel differently than me. I had more to say about the mill Planeswalker. At least that's a deck that I've played a decent amount. Doesn't fly. But an 8/3 indestructible is still pretty hot, right? I think if you're playing this, you care about the death trigger thing. I could see playing this in Historic. I played some sacrifice shenanigan decks in that format. I could see trying this one out. Very easy for those sacrifice decks to have 3 creature cards in the bin too, huh? And it's just free. Like most of the activated abilities on these on this cycle cost like 1 Phyrexian. This is the one that's just like, nope, 2 mana, you're good. I think part of it's that this one costs 5 and those other ones cost 4. So they do cost the same amount to make indestructible. Mayhem double plays nice. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. Okay-ish for a mythic. Right. 5 mana. 5 mana is asking a lot, isn't it? Limited Bomb. Just because like an 8/3 indestructible is gonna, you know, win you some limited games. Mayhem Devil doesn't work with it? Sure. But Blood Artist effects. Don't even need to dip into red. Nuke is saying it does work with Mayhem Devil. Nuke is changing their mind. In a 40-card deck, how often can you exile 3 creatures? If you needed to exile 3 creatures with like a 3-drop or a 4-drop or something, that'd be like a tall ask. For your 5-mana 8/3 or whatever, it shouldn't be that hard. It's kind of an aggressive format too, and Black's a sacrificing set. So for example, if you have a Cutthroat Centurion in play, and 2 creatures in the graveyard, then Dribnon's going to be essentially indestructible for your opponent, right? They can't point a removal spell at it, because then you can sack something and make it indestructible. In, what was it? And then Blue's got a lot of loot effects. Innistrad had a lot of cards that were basically, when it comes into play, exile some number of creatures from your graveyard. And they got kind of cannibalistic if you had too many in the same deck. You would usually only want to play a few of them, but they were good. They were consistent enough, especially if you had some self-mill going on. Oh, that's gonna be the case here. It'll be good enough. Consistent enough. It's not like there's a bunch of other things that want you exiling creatures from your graveyard, right? Two food when you sack a cat to the oven. That could be relevant. Drowning Ichor. 1 in a black sorcery. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Proliferate. Interesting. If this card was instant speed, I would like say that it's good enough for standard, just straight up. It might still be good enough for standard. I like that this kills indestructible things. There are a few indestructible critters floating around this limited format. It's not nice that not just white has answers. Nice that other colors do as well. And then yeah, the proliferate's sweet. You think it's good enough in standard with walkers and other counters? Oh, you're talking about just like the proliferate value? Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. 2 mana for -4/-4 is not that bad. I've played that in standard before. It's been a minute, but I've certainly played that in standard before. And then yeah, obviously for Spickable and Limited. Great removal spell. Well, this is some sweet duress, alright. I think I'd be really into this duress if it had the Urza Saga border. I think the Saga duress is still my favorite. Yeah, good old Grasp of Darkness, which was an instant, of course, but it was also double black. This is 1 in a black. And this has the proliferate. Probably better than Grasp in some decks. Closer to Lava Coil. Yeah, but black usually gets better removal spells than red, right? Like Doomblade's better than Lava Coil a lot of the time. Assuming the Exile Clause isn't relevant, which this also doesn't do, but you're right that it also has an upside. I don't think we need to talk about Duress very much. We're all pretty aware of how that card works and when you should play it, huh? Feed the Infection, 3 in a black for a sorcery. You draw 3 cards and you lose 3 life. Alright, I'm into it. What was that? Ancient Craving or something? Ancient something or other? Actually just cut it from my my Artist Proof EDH deck. I was upgrading some slots. I finally got my my Urza Proof in the mail. Had to make room. Ambition's Cost, that's the one. Ancient Craving 2. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of Ancient Craving. I think Ancient Craving's the one that I've got. Yeah. Yep. Corrupted. Each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters loses 3 life. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, it's nice that this card works if they don't have Corrupted. and then it just like scales. Just scales if they do have it. Going back to the rat conversation. It's not just fucking worthless. Fleshless Gladiator, 1 in a black, creature Phyrexian skeleton. 2 mana 2/2, corrupted, 2 black, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. You lose 1 life. Activate only if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters. Interesting. So this one's definitely not scaled for constructed play, Kind of unexcited for a recursive threat. Usually skeletons are like 1/2s or 1/1s, but they're also usually good. This one's a little awkward. It's got like every downside you can think of, right? You can't always do it. They have to have 3 poison counters. You lose a life when you do it, and it comes to the battlefield tapped, so you can't block that turn. It's still going to be relatively free sometimes. Sometimes you just need a 2-drop and it's going to trade, and they'll have 3 counters and you'll bring it back and you'll be like ecstatic. So I'm not calling this card like fuck-ass terrible or anything. But I am saying that the recursion ability is less good than it usually is. At any speed? Yeah, getting a creature back at sorcery versus instant, if it's coming into play tapped, doesn't really matter. It super doesn't matter in limited. Does that fleshless skeleton have boobs? It might. I don't think it's fully fleshless. I think it's so like the parts of its skin that are not clothed, I think are the parts that are losing flesh. It is a skeleton, but like there's definitely flesh under those hips too, right? I think it's a mixture. I think the parts that are exposed to this like toxic air are the parts where the flesh is gone. That's my guess. The name is fleshless? Okay, never mind. Never mind, I don't get it. I'm not defending it anymore. Moving on! Next card! Geth, Thane of Contracts. 1 black, legendary creature, Phyrexian zombie. 3/4. Yeah, I'm not gonna try and defend that one anymore. The tubes coming out of it gotta go somewhere. They could go into the bone, you know, there's marrow in there. Geth, Thane of Contracts, 1 black, 3/4. Oh, those are some fine stats. Phyrexian zombie, legend. Other creatures you control get -1/-1. Ooh, that's not great. 1 black, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains if this creature would leave the battlefield exiled instead of putting it anywhere else. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, this card kind of sucks. What the shit? People are gonna get tricked by this card so hard. Like, people are gonna open this in limited and like think that because it's a rare, it's like something that they should put in their deck. You shouldn't really. You probably shouldn't be doing that with most limited decks. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule. And it might be fun to think about and puddle around with those exceptions or brew towards it or whatever, but most of the time you should not be putting this card in your deck. Hey, Champney05, thanks to the sub, thanks for sharing that prime. Yeah, as good as Anthem effects are, as good as like a Glorious Anthem is, this card is that bad. So, it's the other thing. And you can recur things, but those things that you're recurring will be worse than they normally would. And you still have to like get them in your graveyard and stuff. And 3 mana for a 3/4 body's not terrible, but if you're recurring, you're also not blocking because you can only activate it as a sorcery. So like that matters less. Is a Crabman? Is a Crabman. Draft the Crabman. Draft a bat. I don't care. do what you want to do, friend. I'm not going to stop you. Self-mill? Yeah, even a little iffy in self-mill. Again, I could see situations where you would play it, but especially like some complicated brews. Most of the time, you should be passing him though, even in your dedicated black decks. Gulping Scrap Trap. Gulp. 4 and a black for a 4/4 creature Phyrexian Horror. Enters the battlefield or dies. Proliferate. Sure. I almost feel like there's more proliferate shit in this set than there are actual cards that make counters. Kind of funny. Infectious Inquiry. It might not play out that way though. 2 and a black, you draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Oh, that's fun. That's a fun read the bones. I like this art style too. Fucking horrifying, huh? There's a lot of oil, yeah. Not the worst read the bones they made? Yeah, no, not the worst. Certainly worse than actual read the bones. Are poison counters like Infect? Yeah. When Infect hits, that's what it's giving the opponent. It's giving them poison counters that you can then proliferate and whatever. Infect is not in this set. This set has Toxic instead. So the main difference is that Toxic doesn't scale with combat damage. And Infect dealt -1/-1 counters to opposing creatures. So Infect was a much better ability. Also a much more difficult ability to balance, right? Because it's scaled with pump effects. So this Toxic definitely feels like a better constructed and limited mechanic. Better for the game, even if less powerful. Anyway, we got a Rat King to talk about here, so that's exciting. 1 black for a 3/3, Phyrexian Rat. Karumanix the Rat King. Other rats you control have Toxic 1. Nice. I'd prefer an Anthem effect, but you know, that's still fun. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of rat cards from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I think I'm in love. Chat. So this is the most casual ass thing I'm gonna say all day, but I love Rat Tribal. I've played it in Modern before. I've played it in Brawl. I played it in Kitchen Table Magic back in the day, and I'm probably gonna play with this card in some fashion at some point. This card's fucking sweet. Top 5 cards, you get all the rats. That's so many rats. That's so many fucking rats. Helps turn on the sack rat? Sure. I mean, you could just play a bunch of ravenous rats. Ratter Fiction stapled to it. Yeah, Ratter Fiction. Love it. Orzhov Rat Blink. Oh, man. You want to ephemerate Blink this? Go through fucking 15 cards, get all the rats. You want to play it with changelings? There's not that many good changelings, right? It's just like literally only Mirror Entity. Is this a strong body for a card like Goblin Ringleader? Yeah. It is. It is a strong body for a card like Goblin Ringleader. This one's worse in multiples than Ringleader, right? Because it is legendary. And it is certainly scaled based on the cards you are getting. For example, dwarves have something similar to a Goblin Recruiter. And Goblin Recruiter is banned. And Dwarven Recruiter is super not banned. And the difference is mostly that one of them tutors dwarves and the other one tutors goblins. Am I calling the average rat not very good? I am, CalebDMTG. I love me rat tribal. I love me some rat tribal, but the average rat is just not very good, yes. Caleb's history lessons? Sort of. It's sort of history. People play the fucking Dwarven Recruiter. Sometimes. There's some, like, legacy deck. That deck's grabbing all changelings. Anyway. Necrogen Communion. 1 in a black enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. Enchant creature has Toxic 2. When it dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. Yeah. I'm unimpressed. I'm sure I'll lose to this card at some point over the course of this limited format. A little niche though, huh? A little niche. Necrosquido. Oh, an important thing for this is note that Toxic does stack. So if you put this on something that has Toxic 1, you'll have Toxic 3, right? Or does it just get replaced because it says has Toxic 2? I think if you gain Toxic 1 twice, you have Toxic 2. I think it goes up to Toxic 3. Cool, thanks for confirming, chat. Worth mentioning. I still don't think it's, like, great. I still think it's, like, a situational card, but it's worth mentioning for sure. Necrosquido. That's a great name. 3 in black for a 0/0. Oh, man. Well, that's not a good rate. Flying, and enters the battlefield with 2 oil counters on it. It's +1/+1 for each oil counter. Okay, a little better, a little better. Whenever another creature or artifact you control is put into a graveyard for the battlefield, put an oil counter on it. Yeah, so in a proliferate format, this seems quite strong, huh? I think it would be busted if it was both players. I don't think it's as good as the blue one because of that. I think it's easier to control playing non-creature spells than, like, your things dying. It does start as a 2/2 instead of a 1/1, but you're also paying another mana. Overall, I think you got a good card. Again, because proliferate's nutty. Top 5 card names of the set? Yeah, it's a really good name. Do I know how to pronounce mosquito? Yeah, but that's not what this is. This is Necrosquido. That's a different name. See, a mosquito is a kind of a regular insect that occurs here naturally on Earth. The scientific community is named. This is a Phyrexian infect. Not even the same plane. But I can see how you get confused. All right. Yeah, you can pack one, pick one. This card. This card's gonna kill people. I don't think it's as bomby as the blue one again, because I think the blue one's just gonna go nuts a little easier. But the fail rate on this one's softer. You're not gonna be top decking a 3-mana 1/1 flyer. 4-mana 2/2 flyer a little bit better. It can trigger multiple times per turn too, right? Let you play this and serve in with all your mites or whatever. Watch them all die or trade off. This gets huge. It does trigger when token creatures die, yeah. Token creatures do still die. It would say non-token on it if it didn't. Nimrazor Paladin. 4 to black, creature Phyrexia Knight, Toxic 2. 4/4, when it enters the battlefield, return target creature card of mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. This is a good Gravedigger. Y'all remember Gravedigger? Fucking 4-mana 2/2. 4-mana 2/2. No other abilities, just return a creature from your graveyard. So this card's not getting your best creature. That's the only downside. You can't chain Nimrays or Paladins together. They're not rebuying each other. Well, that's a hot bod, huh? That's a hot bod with some value attached. I dig it. You can probably take this one pretty early, huh? If Nimrays or Paladin and Neck with Squeedo were in the same pack, which would you first pick? I think I'd go Squeedo. Stop objectifying the cards? Yeah. Wizards has done that for me, huh? The artifact creatures. Yeah, I think Squeedo too. I do think Nimrays or Paladin's good though. Some nice value. Offer Immortality. 1 in a black instant. Target creature gains Death Touch and Indestructible until end of turn. I feel like we've had this one kind of recently.
Oh shit, what up?
It's kind of okay, huh? It's fillerish. Oh shit, what up? Hey, Plinkin. Thanks for the 30 months there. Thanks for sharing that Prime. Pestilent Siphoner. 1 in a black for a Phyrexian Insect. Flying Toxic 1. Yeah, that's fine, huh? In terms of killing somebody with a with infect counters, it's sort of like a 2-1, and then you're doing regular damage as well. Yeah, good old Plague Stinger. Phyrexian Arena. 1 black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life.
Oh shit, what up?
Oh shit, what up? Hey, Subtle Hustle. Thanks for the 6 months. Appreciate it. So the art on Phyrexian Arena, I don't know if anybody else gets this, but it does look to me as though Jace wanted to be pegged and is now trying to figure out if he enjoys it or not. And Vraska knows that she enjoys it. Is my read on this situation. Phyrexian Arena's sweet though. Love seeing that card reprinted. Wouldn't mind a Grey Merchant running around to pair it with, but I do love that card. Phyrexian Arena. Ooh. Ooh. Hmm. You're scared to Google what that means? It's pretty intuitive, Ashikura. I don't blame you, strip teasing. I'm not really about that life. Vraska's pretty hot though. Exceptions could be made. Arena with Shieldred is draw a card, gain a life. That's true. Shieldred is pretty sexy. I think if you're untapping with Shieldred, you're already winning. But life gain, having some life gain in your deck does decrease the chance that you die to this fucking card. Yeah, we got Phyrexian Obliterator and Phyrexian Arena. Where's the Grey Merchant, Tom? Be actually kind of sweet. She's so happy. She's having so much fun. I'd be an awesome stripper if I wanted to be. I don't know about that. I don't think that's true. Spoken as some... sounds like that's something that's spoken by someone who has not seen me dance. I can do the nude part though. Got that part on lockdown. Anyway. Phyrexian Arena, it's sweet. Do you play this card in limited? Should we talk about Phyrexian Arena for limited? I assume people will play it in standard, whether it's good or not. It's so iconic and so good for so long. Hard to imagine it not being good. I don't think it was like great the last time it was reprinted though, You think it's a super bomb in limited? A super bomb? The life loss might be rough. There's some life gain in the format though. Help counteract it. Card advantage is strong. Yeah, it's just a little slow though. If your opponent's curving out on you. Kind of depends on the speed of the format, right? There's some limited formats where Phyrexia Arena would be stone unplayable. And most of, I think it's probably pretty good though. Most of them I think it's good. Divination is always good. Yeah, but Phyrexia Arena is not divination. A little different. Why do you care about your life total when you're dying to poison? Well, the things that are killing you with poison are also dealing you damage in this set. A lot of them are actually killing you with damage faster than the poison. The poison, the toxic is almost just to turn on your if they have 3 poison counters cards. That's supposed to actually kill people. You think Arena's better in sealed than draft? Yeah, I think that's intuitive, huh? Got a little bit more time for the cards to matter. You think poison kills are gonna be pretty rare? I think poison kills are gonna be like way more rare than the infect limited set. I don't think they're gonna be rare. But it's gonna take like some life gain or something before it becomes relevant a lot of the time. Either some life gain on the person taking the damages side, or some proliferate on the poison person's side. But I feel like one of those things has to be happening for poison deaths. You feel like it's a fast set for limited? I've heard that a few different times. People are saying it's gonna be a fast set for limited. There are some like really good blocking bodies in here though. There's a lot of mechanics for helping creatures punch through and stuff. But there's also some really nice blocking bodies and some really nice efficient removal. I think it's gonna be a sweet limited format. I can't wait to try it out. Alright, Phyrexian Obliterator. Fucking love this card. I actually convinced myself to play this card in Legacy. Actually a few times. I think I might be the only person who's top-8'd Legacy Open with Phyrexian Obliterator in their deck. That was a black-white Stoneblade deck. Playing Dark Rituals and stuff. God, that deck was fucking sweet. And I played it one other time. I played a mono-black deck with Phyrexian Obliterators. Another Dark Ritual shell. Obliterator, I wouldn't play it in Legacy these days. It's been some years. Maybe like a decade or some shit. It's been a hot minute. And it wasn't like amazing back then or anything. But it certainly did match up well against Tarmogoyf. And these days, your opponent's not playing Tarmogoyf, right? They're playing Murktide. Just doesn't give a shit about this at all. You'd be much better off playing Shieldred if you want a 4-drop in Legacy. But anyway. I remember the mono black deck was actually doing reasonably well in testing. And then I showed up for the SEG, and I was like doing my deck count before I submitted my deck list. And I realized I'd been testing with like 6 Obliterators or something. I'd like fucked up somewhere putting the deck together and just like always had a Phyrexian Obliterator. And didn't realize it until I was regging my deck and was like, oh my god. Anyway, I did worse. I did worse in the tournament. With a few less Obliterators than I'd done in my test games. Weird, huh? Yeah, Obliterator has shown up in Constructed before. I would love if it showed up in Constructed again. Fucking sick card. People keep on talking about whether this one or the white one's better. It's actually kind of hard to tell. In a format without any devotion stuff. Probably gonna be whichever one's gonna have the better shell, right? They're probably close enough. Hard to compete with Shieldred? It is hard to compete with Shieldred. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Green-black obliterator fight? Yeah. I've tried that a little bit. A little bit in modern, a little bit in historic. It's never like that good, The white one can block obliterator with no drawback. I don't know if that's true. Never mind, you can't read. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, I think there's still a drawback, friend. Yeah, try it out. You're fine, Salty Ninja. I'm not sorry for your interaction. Ravenous Necrotitan, 2 black for a 6/6, Phyrexian Horror, Corrupted. Enters the battlefield, sack a creature unless an opponent has 3 or more poison counters. Oh, this is a fun one. This is the sort of card. I mean, you're just playing this in limited, right? This is the sort of card that you can potentially get away with playing, even if you don't have Corrupted, and then it just becomes better if you hit it. Decks that are playing towards Corrupted are gonna have a bunch of little shitters too. A bunch of little shitter toxic things running around. You're gonna have sack fodder. It's gonna be solid limited card, I think. Sack a mite, whatever. Yeah, I mean, black doesn't produce mites, but there's a few black cards that want to sacrifice things. You can certainly build towards it. Scheming Aspirant. 1 in the black for 1/3. Whenever you proliferate, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Interesting. How do y'all feel about this card? There's a lot of commons with proliferate on them. I feel like you'll need to trigger this like twice before it's quite good, right? Feels insane? Yeah. Limited good? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, proliferate's never really been a constructed mechanic. It's shown up on like a couple of cards that people have played in constructed decks, just because they needed like enough artifacts or whatever. There is a shitload of proliferate, yeah, a lot of it on commons too. It feels like if you trigger this thing twice, it's great. Because like you still have the body, you still have like a blocker sitting around doing stuff. If you do it more than that, it becomes busted. And if you have 2 of these things, people might just die. Might just die to you casting like common cantrips and shit. Claustrophobia, take 4, I gain 4. Just like, what the fuck, I think you can pack 1, pick 1 this, and then build around it, and end up with like kind of a nutty deck. You feel like you trigger it once and you're happy? Yeah, if you trigger it once, then it's like, okay, right? I wouldn't call that like a good card. A 2 mana 1/3, and then when it comes into play, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. I wouldn't call that like a first pickable. But if you trigger it twice, you've like made up for a first pick. 2 mana for a 1/3 that drains 4. It was a first pickable card in and of itself. Does keep going, yeah. And a 1/3 is not bad against mites. It's not bad against mites, no. Yep, we've been through blue Hay of Frozen Zebra. There's the Anticipate, there's the Passivism effect in blue. Black's even got some in common, right? 5 mana 4/4 common or whatever. Alright, Shieldred's Edict. This is a sweet edict, right? One in a black instant, choose 1. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature, or each opponent sacrifices a creature token, or each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker. Yeah, one of my issues with edict effects, especially in limited, is that you're always getting your opponent's worst creature. And so if your opponent doesn't have very many creatures, or if you're playing it very early on in the game, you might also be getting their best creature, in which case, congrats, you have a quality removal spell. But most of the time, the average use case for an edict in limited is that the game has gone on for a bit, and your opponent's got some shitter that they don't care about anymore, or even something you put a pacifism effect on, and they're like, "Yep, sack that thing," and you're like, "Sweet, I just used a card on the worst, the worst effect ever." So the fact that this one has a little bit of options, right? Someone could have like 3 mites in play and then also some bomb rare, some like maybe one of the indestructible things or whatever. And then you just get to say non-token and like get their good card. Or maybe they have a planeswalker. Probably not gonna have a spare planeswalker to sack, right? Makes it a lot better. I don't know, I'm still not playing it over Annihilating Glare, for reference. But it's closer than Edicts usually are. There are actually situations where it's better. Besides literal turn 2. You think it's modern playable? I could see that. I don't know how many edicts you want to play in modern. But if you're in the market for one, maybe not the worst. Get that red and 6 on turn 2. You think definitely Legacy playable? Legacy Edicts. I mean, it's hard to beat Sudden, right? If you're gonna main deck an Edict effect. Yeah, this one also hits Planeswalkers. But Uncounterable is a fucked up ability versus those Murktides and stuff. I still don't think Shieldred's getting there. Kills Dark Depths? Yeah, so does so do other Edicts. I guess you care if they've also got like other creatures, so like green-white depths, or like people doing the Nether Reliquary thing, or Elvish Reclaimer to set up Dark Depths. I guess you care against that specifically, as opposed to just the crop rotation Hex Mage thing. Are people really using Edicts in Legacy? Yeah, people have used Edicts in Legacy for a while. It's not... There's not like a lot of people using Edicts in Legacy. Part of that's because Black has been kind of on the downtick lately. But it's mostly because Edicts are good against 2020s. So that's why people are mentioning Dark Depths. That's a primary concern. Sudden's pretty good, though. Still hard to beat Sudden. For Sneak and Show? For Sneak and Show, I think you would still rather play the Uncounterable one, huh? Doesn't beat Colony Garden. Do they play Colony Garden? I don't know if I've seen Colony Garden in a Legacy list. Yeah, Split Second. Split Second, pretty nutty. Depths players are talking about playing it now that Shieldred exists. Shieldred's Edict. Have her cannibalize herself. Anyway, Shieldred's Head Cleaver, 3 and a black for a 2/4, Menace Toxic 2. This card's good, right? Menace is a little bit better than people realize. I like the shine on the axe head. It's pretty sweet. And that weird green goop. Weird to see Menace with a big butt. Yeah. But you're also turning on the Toxic Matters cards quicker. Just 1 hit with this and a might, or 2 hits with this. It's pretty relevant. Punishment for sedition, like every other crime in the Dross pits, is execution. It's pretty good. White-black might want this. Huh? Oh, just for limited? Yeah. No, I think the card's solid. I think it's like probably better than it looks, huh? It's still a common, it's still like filler. You can only put so many 4-drops in your deck. Stinging Hive Master, 2 and a black for a 3/2. Phyrexian Warlock, Toxic 1. Whenever it dies, create a 1/1 colorless might artifact creature token with 1, and this creature cannot be blocked with Toxic 1. That's something you don't mind sacrificing, huh? Don't mind trading off, get a little bit of value. Not broken, a solid little role player. Testament Bearer. A Testament Bear. I knew there were going to be some bears in this set. 3 and black for a 4/1. When Testament Bear dies, with the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Ooh, I love it. So the 4/1 body would be pretty terrible if mites could block. But they can't. So this is going to trade off, and you're going to get to Impulse. That's going to be sweet. This is the sort of card that I'm probably a little bit more high on than I should be. I think it's sweet, though. This is like always going to trade with something. Always going to give you value. You can sack it if you really want to, but usually you're going to be better off just attacking, making them trade. Vat Emergence, 4 and a black for a sorcery. Put target creature card from a graveyard, either players. How come the uncommon can do either graveyard, but the fucking, the rare card that's part of a busted rare cycle can't? Proliferate. And you got Proliferate on there. That's kind of fun. Yeah, not a pack one pick one card, but solid. The only reason I don't like taking cards like Vat Emergence super early is because you can only play so many more top end cards, and this one might actually, like functionally in a game of Magic, cost more than 5. Because you're not going to necessarily have something worth reanimating on turn 5, right? Might end up being super late. So a quality card, but a later pickup, I think. Even still. Vat of Rebirth. Black artifact. Whenever another artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on Vat of Rebirth. My oil. 2 to black, tap. Remove 4 oil counters from Vat of Rebirth. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Interesting. This card would be nutty if in a treasure set, huh? Is this card good? This common, for example, can like trigger it twice, and then it recurs half of it. This card might not be good. The 5-mana 4/4 that proliferates when it comes into play. Sure, proliferates when it comes into play and on death. Maybe better than it looks with Proliferate. Yeah, there is a shitload of Proliferate. If you can get a Proliferate or 2 in there, then it's not so bad. And it does help that the card that you rebuy can then like trade off again. Helps you activate it the second time. Low floor, high ceiling. Yeah. Yeah, the floor is it does fucking nothing. Extremely low. And then the ceiling is that you recur like multiple things and like stone win the game because you're getting recursion value. I think that's accurate. You like just playing it before combat and attacking all in? Yeah, that's true. You can even afford to like lose some value, huh? You play this pre-combat and then serve. You can like trade 2 things and then like lose 2 things, recur something. That's like still a reasonable attack. Depending on what's getting traded off, of course. Pioneer Reanimator with that? Oh no. Not a constructed card. The counters are too finicky. Too finicky for constructed. Too bad off the top. You want to play with blood tokens? Blood tokens or treasure or something? Yeah, if you did do something in constructed, it'd be kind of cute. Using treasure or whatever. Reanimate an Archon with it. Probably still bad. In Modern, you can just cast it and persist. Probably don't need multiple activations. Alright, Bran, Executioner Thane. 1 in a black for legendary creature, Phyrexian Vampire, 2/2. Whenever one or more other creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. This triggers only once per turn. This card's kind of sweet, Black's got a lot of control over things dying in this format. Another legend. You can legend rule them to drain the opponent. You'll get to drain them for 4 if you do that. Because they'll each trigger, even though the one's just dying. Oh no, it says other creatures. That doesn't work. Fuck. Yeah, I'd be much more excited about this card if it wasn't legendary. Naturally. It is once per turn. Yeah, I mean, once per turn, it's a good enough effect that once per turn could be fine. But it's hard to justify a build around it's legendary like that. And not being able to stack them, right? Not being able to get multiple in play. The trigger does work with doubling death triggers, yep. Don't even need 3 poison counters on them for it to work, yeah. No. You thought it was junk? I mean, yeah. I think it's close to interesting though. Colostria Highborn, for example, I think you had to pay a single black. You could do it multiple times per turn, but you needed to pump mana into it. This one just being free. Free could make up for a lot. Free could make up for it being once per turn, because the effect is good enough. But I don't think it can make up for once per turn and being a legend. I don't know. You put like one of these into your historic sacrifice decks. I could see it. Yeah, netcutting itself is also a bummer. It's just got a lot of that, right? Only once per turn. Doesn't count itself. Is a legend, so you can't get multiples down. It might just be too much. It might just be too many things. It would definitely be more exciting if it triggered off itself dying. Huh? I don't get what you're saying. Did you buy Samurai? The 8/3 that cares about the doubles death things. It still doubles it. This is only triggering once per turn. But once it's triggered, the other thing is the one that's doing it, right? Or does it literally say triggers a second time on it? We can scroll up. We can check. Deal with new cards. Oh, it does say it triggers an additional time. It doesn't just copy the trigger. Maybe it doesn't fucking work with it. That's really awkward. The rare sacrifice creature and the mythic sacrifice creature don't have synergy with each other in this set. Seems like a mistake. Just saying. Just saying, Wizards. Might not have done that. You're gonna make some sad fucking FNMers. Vraska, Betrayal, Sting. 4 black and Phyrexian completed. The Phyrexian can be paid with black or 2 life. If life was paid, it enters with 2 fewer loyalty counters. Comes with 6 normally. If you pay 6 mana, you get 6 loyalty counters. You pay 5, you get 4. The 0 is you draw a card and lose 1 life, and then it's got Proliferate on it. So it's sort of like a +1, huh? Because of how Proliferate works, it can proliferate itself. It's like a better +1. The -2 is target creature becomes a treasure artifact. With tap stack this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color. Loses all other card types and abilities. And the -9 is if target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get a number of poison counters equal to the difference. Yeah. So the ult does not excite me. You're not killing anyone with that. It's sort of similar to the 4 mana Brass's ult, which was like, if they take any damage, they die. A little easier to deal any damage than to deal poison specifically. But I guess if you untap with Vraska after ulting, you can proliferate with her. And get there. It just takes 2 turns. Kind of asking a lot, Maybe you're playing this with other proliferate cards, though. An easy pass and draft? Oh, you're super wrong. I don't know where you got that idea. But I think you're drastically underestimating the ability to downtick and kill things. 5 mana for a removal spell is playable in draft. And this removal spell has a Planeswalker attached. That's quite good. You should not pass that. You would splash black for this? Yeah, maybe. Probably depends on the rest of your deck, how easy it is, how well you can protect it, whether you need removal. It's probably splashable. It's certainly powerful enough, I did see someone, I was watching someone else's set review the other night. I didn't catch the whole thing, but I did watch them hem and haw over whether a Phyrexian Arena was good enough in Limited. And I'm just watching like, you are you are missing a very important function of this card. Does anyone remember that uncommon? I'm sure plenty of people do. It was like 3 black, and you would -3. I think it was one of the Ob Nixilis's. I don't think you could even gain loyalty. I think it just like came down and killed something. And then whoever's creature died, they would like draw 2 cards. When they drew cards, they would lose life. When the opponent did it, that was a static ability. The removal spell on that card was like way better than it looked, even though the opponent was like drawing 2 cards off of it. And this card is just so much fucking better than that. Oh, it did get 2 removal spells out of it. Yeah. But that's kind of what I'm reminded of with the downtick here. The fact that you can get 2 removal spells out of 1 card. And then the rest of the card here is insane. Like you play this, you kill something, you untap, draw cards. Or, you know, you can play it for 6 mana, and then you got a 6 loyalty walker, and you draw a card and pip it up to 7. Maybe even get proliferate value. Who knows? Yeah, card's nutty. Constructed playable? That's more of a question. So there's a limited bomb. I'm like playing it in every sealed deck. Playing it in most draft decks. Splashing for it a reasonable amount of the time. This Vraska fixes for you. Oh, by target your own things to make treasure. Yeah, I don't know about that one. A 1/2 of in some decks, some constructed decks. I do like that you can play it for 5 mana. Like, the flexibility between 5 and 6 is relevant. You should say it was good fixing. That's true, he did not. Is the proliferate going to be good and constructed? Well, the proliferate works with itself, right? Turning itself into it turns it into a +1 to draw. +1 to draw a lot better than 0 to draw, huh? So for you to get additional value from the proliferate and constructed, assuming you're not doing infect things, not assuming you don't care about poison, which is probably a fair assumption, the easiest way to get proliferate value would be from like having another planeswalker in play. And I think that's free enough. I think that's free enough to be relevant. If you only had planeswalkers, then like a proliferate card would not be worth it. But having a card that's like good on its own, the proliferate matters. You feel like you're just stopping at that 4 mana? I don't know what you mean, but mini. Five of the cheapest, right? How many cards have we looked at that said it's good if you have enough proliferate? Yeah, but those are all pretty much for limited, right? Not Patrick. Usually proliferate is not a constructed mechanic. Alright. In the deck, you feel like you're just playing Shieldred, and this is the top end. You might be right about that. Speed up sagas. Yeah, I could see that. Churn through sagas faster. Could be relevant. Could be better than it seems. It is good for your cards to be good with each other, huh, Warcrow? Even though those cards are good individually. Liliana the Veil is in standard. Ooh, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Get to ult your Liliana a little faster. Get to double Edict Liliana without having to uptick if you don't want to discard. I always go in white, blue, black, red, green order. Stupid names. That's also in the stream title. But anytime you ever check any of my set reviews, you can kind of figure out what colors I've done based on what colors I'm on. The old Wooburg, exactly. Alright, yeah, Vraska's hot. Definite hot, not a not. We can move on to Vraska's Fall. 2 and a black instant. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker and gets a poison counter. So this is kind of a bad edict, huh? You kind of have to really care about giving them a poison counter before you're playing this one. It's weird that they have such a piece of shit when they've got like kind of a good one earlier. If it's the 10th poison counter, it's pretty good though. That's my official review. If it literally kills them, this card is quite good. And if it doesn't do that, it's bad. It's literally gotta be lethal. Common sort of removal? Sort of. I mean, usually common removal is better than this too. A 3-mana Edict. Not great. Alright, Whisper of the Dross. 1 black instant. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Proliferate. I like that card so much if it was -1/-1 counter, huh? I'd be like, great. Probably makes sense that it's not, That'd probably have to be an uncommon. Or rare or something. You think this seems like a card that got changed? Maybe. There's another card earlier, like the first card we looked at in black was literally just like a 3-mana 3/2 where you'd pay 2 life to give something -1/-1 until end of turn. Yeah, I think you have to really value the proliferate before we start playing this card. It can be a combat trick. A little situational. Alright. It's 11-19. I'm definitely going to get through red. And potentially green. I'm going to take a quick break here. Rest my voice a little bit. Maybe go get myself some milk or something.